And let's see. Live. All right. We are setting up for our second live class from Breathe and Flow Yoga. Today, earlier this morning, Lisa joined us, and now Jamie is here in our Freeport studio. We're so grateful for Jamie's practice tonight. She's going to be leading you through restorative yoga practice using minimal props, giving you some ideas of what props and things you could use at home for restorative yoga. So I'm going to hand it over to Jamie. Jamie, if you wouldn't mind, just say hi, and everyone else listening and watching, give us a thumbs up if you can hear and see okay.
Hello. Hi, everyone. So, welcome. We're here in Freeport. Yes, thumbs up if you can hear me okay. I'll speak a little louder if you need me to.
How's the volume, everybody? Facebook, how are you doing? Tracy's waving. Hi,
Hey,
Tracy. Can you hear us okay? Just waving hi. I can't tell if they can hear, but I'm pretty sure Instagram is giving us lots of thumbs up, so they definitely see us. Okay, Tracy's got a thumbs up too. They are listening and seeing and hearing you. It's great.
Welcome. So namaste, everybody. So we'll be doing a mini restorative class. We've also said that if you want to extend the poses while demonstrating them, so we'll be in them probably 4 to 5 minutes. But if you do want to extend them a little bit longer, you could always, while you're watching this after live, you could pause and add a couple additional minutes at the time, maybe set your own timer. You could also do, if you want some nice background music while you're practicing. So yeah, we'll get started. So I have a few props here of my own that I brought in. So we have our traditional yoga blankets. I have a bolster and a block. So at home, you could use your own blanket. For a bolster, you could use like a nice firm pillow. And then for a block, if you don't have a block, you could use something like a nice heavy, thick textbook or anything that might be in the shape.
Shoe boxes are great.
Great idea.
Mm.
So I personally don't have much of a home practice except for when it's needed right now, but taking this time to get comfortable in our own environment at home. So when you are practicing, if you're not practicing now, maybe you want to save it for later. You could probably do this even in your own bed if you have like a nice king size bed at home. This is perfect to do probably right before bed, just to tune inward, relax, kind of let all the craziness from the outside world just slip away from your attention for this period of time. So before we get started in our restorative poses, we are going to just move a little bit and get some blood flowing in our tension areas, so our shoulders, our hips, our back. So we'll just start. If you want, you can take maybe a blanket, or if you have something like a block, and just tuck that right underneath your seat, just lifting your hips a little bit higher than your knees. And just coming to a comfortable seat, maybe the legs are crisscross or bottom of the feet together, whichever feels more comfortable for you. Hands to either the thighs or maybe the knees. And then we'll just start by closing our eyes. And just breathing smoothly in and out through the nose. And just noticing your own natural breath. So without forcing the breath or maybe manipulating your breath, just allow yourself to breathe naturally. And then with your next inhale, let's lift the shoulders up towards our ears. And as you exhale, feel the shoulders melting all the way back down. One more time, inhale, let the shoulders lift. And exhale to release. And with that next inhale, feel the spine lengthen a little bit longer. And with your exhale, notice your tailbone, your hips grounding heavier down. And then as you just let your chin drop towards your chest. Relaxing the head here, just breathing into the back of your neck. Let your next inhale just guide your right ear to your right shoulder. And just stay here as you breathe down that left side of your neck. Let the head relax back. Lift your chin and breathe into the front of your neck. Slowly guiding your left ear to your left shoulder. And as you take a deep breath down the right side, let the chin drop back to the chest. Another breath here behind the neck. Maybe inviting some little circles. So as you inhale, circling towards one ear, and exhale gently towards the opposite ear. And continuing a few rounds, just half circles, moving with the pace of your breath. And then if it feels okay for the neck, you can begin just to take full circles. And again, continuing around in both directions. Maybe you notice some tight spots. So once you take notice of those spots, just hold the head there and begin to breathe into that space. And continuing slowly with those circles. Maybe noticing if the shoulders creeped up towards the ears, continue to relax. And then we'll meet back with our chin towards our chest for one more breath here behind our neck. And as you inhale, lifting the head back up through center, and you can open your eyes. So taking a few seated cat-cow poses. So as you inhale, we're going to sweep our hands back towards our hips. As you lift the chest, shoulders roll back, then turn your gaze up. Then with your exhale, move your hands towards your knees, round the whole back, and tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, sweeping the hands back, lift the heart as you look up. And exhale with the hands towards your knees, round the whole back, chin to chest. We'll do that 2 more times as you inhale, open. And exhale to round. Once more, inhale. And exhale. Then just pause here, keep your hands at your knees. We're going to circle the body. So as you inhale, just sweeping your chest forward, lead with that right shoulder. And exhale, rounding through the spine all the way back. Inhale again, circle forward. Exhale, rounding back. Continue another 2, 3 more times, just moving with your breath. If you'd like, close your eyes and just allow your breath to guide the body. Then we'll circle the other way. So as you inhale, lead with that left shoulder, circle forward, and exhale, rounding back. Another 2 more times with your breath. And then as you come back into a neutral spine, shoulders over your hips. Take 1 more breath in as you lift those shoulders up to the ears. Exhale to surrender back down. Then just bring your palms out in front. We're going to come up into a tabletop position and take a few rounds of cat-cow pose on the hands and knees. So if you need extra cushioning underneath the knees, use either your mat. You can fold that up in half so it's a little the blanket under the knees. Stack the wrists under the shoulders, knees as wide as your hips. Then spread the fingers open, and as you inhale, tuck the toes under. Lower the belly as you lift the chest. And on your exhale, release the top of the feet, round the spine, and drop the chin down to your chest. Inhale again, tuck the toes. Lower the belly, lift the chest. And exhale to release the feet, round the spine, and chin to chest. Take 2 more times just on your own as you move with your breath. And then after 1 more round, we're going to come back into that tabletop position, neutral spine. And from here, just swaying your hips gently side to side, and shifting the body forward and back. And let the hips just drop to the heels, top of the feet to the ground. Pause for a child's pose, arms reach forward, lower the forehead. inhale, lifting the head, the chest as you come back up. So we'll get our props set up for our first restorative pose. So goddess pose, we could call this one. So using the props that you have at home, so we are going to use a bolster or a nice padded or firm pillow, and then either your block, a shoebox, a book, anything that is somewhat in the shape. So using that underneath your bolster. We'll assume that there's no bolsters at home, although there might be. And then if you do have 2 blankets, so we could use one as a little support for the head, or even if you have like a small pillow, that might be nice just to place at the back part. And then with your blanket, just opening it up and kind of rolling that as much as you can. So something like this. So we'll come to sit just with our lower back resting up against our pillow or bolster and taking our blanket just underneath the knees. So we'll start in a bound angle or butterfly legs with the bottom of our feet together, knees wide, and just using that blanket for support underneath our knees. So you might want to fold that, lifting it higher, just so it's supporting under the legs. And just holding what's behind you, your bolster, your pillow, as you just recline back and take whatever you're using as support underneath the head. Arms relax next to you out to either side. So you want to have support of your elbows, your forearms, your hands to the ground next to you. And then before we come into every pose, I just recommend making little movements, wiggle around a bit, and just feel what needs to adjust so that you can remain still and be comfortable. And we'll keep the palms open. Maybe you want to slide your feet a little farther out from the body. And then once you're here, just close your eyes. And take a very subtle tug of the chin towards the chest. And just feel the shoulders as they melt down and away from your ears. And then once we're in the pose, keep in mind that we are not stuck here, we are just still. So if anything changes, sensations, and you need to adjust your body or your props, just doing so. And try to move slowly and just be mindful. And as you bring your attention to your breath, inviting that smooth and easy breathing in and out through the nose. And just noticing again your breath's rhythm, its natural pace. We'll observe the body as it begins to respond with the breath. So as you inhale, feeling that gentle rise of your belly as it expands in your chest. Then as you exhale, feel the whole weight of your body as it begins to sink a little bit heavier, resting over all your props, your blankets, your pillow, everything beneath you. And then begin to imagine as if your chest, feel how open it is. Picturing as if there was a nostril, 2 nostrils right where the chest is, and breathing there. Bring your awareness to the belly and feel that space you have within your abdomen. As you notice with all this openness, how your body can breathe a little bit more easier. And just allow your breath to move easy and freely. So if you do want to pause and stay here longer, now's the time to do so. You can stay up in this pose as much as 10 minutes if you'd like. Always an option to bring your knees together and just have the legs extended forward with a little support under the knees. If it feels too much of that stretch or opening in your hips. And then staying here again for another few rounds of breath. When you are ready to come out of the pose, always move slowly and just be mindful of your movements so that you can keep the whole experience restorative. So as you bend the knees, just bringing your feet back to the ground, keeping your feet hip distance apart. You could even separate the feet wider, knees together, inviting a very slow windshield wiper of the legs. And then with the feet hip distance, we'll turn the palms face down, just right next to our hips. And when you're ready to exit, you're going to ground into the hands in both your feet. Take an inhale, tucking your chin towards your chest, and using yourself slowly to rise up. And just pausing in that comfortable seat. So between each pose, we're just going to take a moment to pause and stay here just to feel and observe the effects of the pose within the body, within the breath. And you might already notice some more space created in your hips, your belly, your chest, your shoulders. A little more deepening of your breath. And as you take one more inhale, lifting those shoulders up to the ears. And as you exhale, surrender them back down. Good. So we're going to keep the same shape we have with our props, just removing that blanket or pillow, whatever you were using under the head, just move that to the side. And then we're going to turn to face towards our props. So a supported twist. This one's pretty minimal, so we're going to start by bringing both of our knees to the left and dropping our right hip down in front of our big bolster or our pillow. You can use your blanket that you had under the knees if you want to place your blanket just between your thighs and your knees here. And then placing the hands just on either side of your props there. Make sure your hip is right snug up against whatever you're using as a bolster. And as you inhale, press into the palms, turn your chest towards the ground. And as you exhale, just lower your belly, your chest, and bring your right cheek to rest right on top. So you might notice your left arm. If your left arm is in the air, maybe the elbow is lifted or the forearm, if it's not resting on the ground, then you could use that blanket or pillow that you had under the head as support under that left arm. So this is the pose I typically will doze off in, so Leah's here to make sure I'm awake.
Not if I fall asleep first.
If we both fall asleep, someone on live has to just knock and wake us up. Manny, that's you. So once you're here, we're going to soften those shoulders back down. And again, tuning in with your breath. And from here, you'll notice the breath now filling up into your back, into your rib cage. And then with your inhale, just feel the body as it expands a little wider. And as you exhale, the body begins to sink a little deeper in your twist. And after each breath, noticing maybe if the body is still holding or tensing somewhere. If that's the case, just bring your awareness there and try to relax and soften. And you'll feel all the support with your ground, props beneath you. And as we turn to face the ground, we can allow the mind to become a little bit more quiet. We're just trying to acknowledge the thoughts as they enter the mind and releasing them after each breath. So just breathing out. With every exhale, what needs to release? And if any outside noise comes in, you may not be in a quiet environment, which is completely okay. Just taking in all the sounds as they're around you and just letting them go. And as you continue to tune in with your body, with your breath, that's how you're able to stay present in your practice. So now if you'd like to pause and continue to remain in the pose another few minutes. So we do a twist on both sides, so you could stay here for another 3 to 4 more minutes, and then for the other side, do the same thing. So I'll help to just walk you out of the pose. If there is something underneath that left arm, just sliding it off to the side, out of the way for now. And we'll walk our hands so they're underneath our shoulders. And as you press into the palms, you'll take an inhale, slowly rising up from whatever you're using as your bolster. Take a moment here, lengthen the spine, and then you'll just turn around so that your back faces the bolster, and then swinging your left hip to then settle at the front, making all those adjustments with yourself, your props, before you prepare for that twist on the other side. If you did use something under the arm, switching it to the opposite side. With your hip resting right up against the front part, you'll bring your hands on either side of what you're using as a bolster. And as you inhale again, just turning your chest towards the ground. And as you exhale, walk the hands forward as you fold over your belly, your chest, and the left cheek to rest. And you're sliding, if you need that, underneath the right arm. And continue to relax your shoulders. Relax the space between the shoulder blades. And bringing your awareness back to your breath. And since we're doing the other side, you might notice one side is maybe more comfortable than the other, as one side might be a little different. Just observing without judgment. And just letting that breath fill up into the back, into the rib cage. Notice the breath slowing down. And just see if you could find those pauses between each breath. And just allow yourself to linger in that space between each breath. And pausing there. So you'll stay here if you want, same amount of time you are on the other side. If you're pausing, to stay for another 3-4 minutes. And then exiting out the same way we did with the other side by sliding something that might have been under the right arm to the side if you were using that. And then just walking your hands under your shoulders. Taking that inhale, press into the palms, slowly rising back up from what you're using as your bolster. And then just turning around, you can sit with your back just resting right up against the front. As we take that moment just to pause, feeling those effects within the body. Noticing the space within the body and within the breath. Hopefully you're observing some more depth within the breathing. As you create that space within the lungs. As you inhale, lifting up again through the shoulders. And exhale, just surrender back in. So preparing for our next pose. This might not be a favorite for some. I find that people either love or really dislike this pose. Either way, we're going to practice it. So you can stay in this pose anywhere from 2 minutes to maybe 6 minutes. So just opening up what you're using as your blanket and tucking it underneath now, the front part of what you're using as a bolster, just having it lie across.
Sorry.
And then the second blanket that we were using, the one that was under our arm in that previous pose, just keeping it nearby. I'll show you some options that you could use for that. So same setup with our bolster over what we're using as a block. So this is a supported child's pose. So facing towards our props, we're going to bring our knees wide so that our bolster, what we're using, is between our thighs and that our big toes are touching or as close as we could bring them together. Now you can use what you're using as a blanket and tucking it underneath the hips, between your hips and your heels. That's an option. You could also tuck it underneath the top of the feet if there's an arch where the top of the feet are, and you can comfortably bring the feet flat, then you'll use your blanket for that option. If either one of those aren't needed, you could just take that over the lower part of your back. So as you walk the hands forward, just lowering yourself over the bolster. We'll start with our right cheek to rest. And just again, making sure that you have some support under your knees, just so the knees are nice and padded. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Maybe palms facing down. They could also hug around the back of your props. Palms could also be open. Feel free to try all those out and just see what feels best for you. Once you're here, close your eyes. Tune back in with your breath. And you'll notice with every inhale, your belly, your chest, as it presses gently against what you're using as a bolster. Then with your exhale, feel the body as it hugs itself closer together. Every inhale, breath filling up into the back. Exhale, just letting the weight of the body continue to melt. And just stay with that breathing. A nice even flow of breath. Long, smooth inhales followed by longer and smoother exhales. You're welcome at any point to exhale out through the mouth and just release. As you sigh it out, let go of stress, tension, whatever you might be holding on to, whether that's in the body, within the mind. And then when you are about halfway through the pose, you'll turn the other cheek to even out the neck. And continue to stay here, just breathing. Breathing down into the lower back, into the hips. Directing the breath into those areas within your body that might need some more assistance with softening and with releasing. So you are welcome to pause and stay here in this pose for another 2 to 3 more minutes, or you are welcome to exit and come out of the pose now. So if there is a prop that's resting over the back, just moving it to the side, taking your time. Again, remember to move slowly, mindfully when you come out of every pose, hands under the shoulders. With your inhale, press into the palms, lift the head, the chest, just rising from that center. And moving the knees just under your hips, coming into a tabletop position. From here, some little movements, swaying the hips again. Sending the legs down the mat. Tuck the toes, press into the heel, just opening into the back of the legs. Again, we'll take that moment just to sit, to pause between poses, hands to the knees, eyes closed. And feeling those effects within the body and within the breath. Hopefully you're noticing some more quiet within your mind. And as you inhale, lift the shoulders towards your ears. Exhale, let it go down. Good. So, our last pose, which will be our Savasana. Continuing to keep our bolster as it is with what we're using as a block. And just removing the blanket that was underneath. So place that just to the side next to you. We're going to use that now just to cover the body. So if at any point you do get colds, which happens in restorative yoga, since we are not moving, the body temperature drops a little. So always keep extra blankets nearby. Make sure you're dressed nice and comfortable, just to help keep you warm. So keep that next to you, and what you were using under the head in the first pose, maybe it was a blanket or it was a small pillow. We'll just take that at the opposite side of where our props are, and that will be our pillow here for our Savasana. Then just turning to face what you're using for props. Bring your feet on either side. Hands help just to guide your back, your head down, tucking the pillow, blanket under the head, shoulders to the ground or to your mat. Then lifting the legs just one at a time as they rest over what you're using for a bolster. And then your blanket, feel free to open that as much as you'd like to keep you warm, keep you comfortable. From here, just place the right hand to the belly, left hand to the heart. Shifting around, just let yourself settle in. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows are wide. Close the eyes. Begin to welcome your breath into your hands. Feeling the breath pressing against your palms with every inhale as it slowly softens away on each exhale. And we'll take a 4-point breathing exercise. We're continuing to breathe through the nose. And then with your next inhale, we'll direct the breath into our belly first, our chest second. Then as we exhale, first from our chest, then from our belly. Inhale, breathing into our belly. then into our chest. Exhaling first from the chest, and then from our belly. Inhale, feel the belly rise. Chest expands. Exhale, let your chest release. And then your belly. Continuing on your own, 2 more rounds. Inhale, belly, chest. Exhale, chest, belly. 1 more time. Before you release your hands, just take notice of this gentle wave-like pattern you've created in your body by using your breath. And then as you slowly let the arms fall out to either side, keep the palms open. If you need to shift around any more to let yourself sink into your Savasana, making this the most nourishing pose of your entire practice. Inviting a deep breath in. Exhale, open the mouth and sigh it out. Keep your lips parted. Let the tongue rest easy within your mouth. Feel the eyes sink heavy into their sockets. Softening the muscles of the face. Smoothing out across the forehead. As you relax the temples, eyebrows. If you are still holding anywhere within the body, now's the time to fully surrender, completely relax. It is safe to let go. And let the ground beneath you be there to support your entire body up. And as you continue to ride the waves of your breath, inviting you to pause if you'd like to stay here longer. When you are ready to exit and come out of the pose, just moving slowly. You can keep your eyes closed. If there's a blanket covering you, just bringing that off to the side. Making little movements with the fingers, toes, circles of your wrists, your ankles. Taking a deep breath in, let the arms stretch overhead. And as you exhale, reach out through the legs, point the toes, take a deep breath to awaken the body. Then as you bend your knees, bringing your feet to your bolster, your pillow, hugging the knees towards the chest, give yourself a nice big hug. And invite a little rocking here side to side. We'll eventually come to lie on our right side, finding a fetal position with that right arm under the head. Left hand is to the ground in front of you. Take a moment just to pause here. Absorb all the benefits from your practice. try to resist the urge to open the eyes. Feel the ground beneath that left hand. Using your next inhale to take your time as you rise back up. And just meeting in that comfortable seat. With the hands resting on top of the thighs, knees, keeping those eyes closed. And one final reflection to observe how you feel. Noticing all the changes, all the after effects from your entire practice. Feeling that space you've made within the body, space within the breath, and within the mind. Let the palms meet together in front of the heart. Feel that warmth between your hands. And you can invite your practice to close with the sound of Om. Inhaling. Bowing your head gently, let your thumbs settle between your eyebrows as you honor yourself, your practice. Namaste.
Namaste. Hold on just one second. I just want to switch and say hello. Thank you, Jamie,
You're welcome.
our restorative yoga mama right here. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm going to
Thanks
keep a
for
safe
having me.
distance, but we're going to all give our virtual hugs to the community, because I know how much this practice has meant to each and every one of you. This is the way we stay connected. This
Yes.
yoga community, yoga tribe, and family, we are here for you, and thanks for joining us again today.
Thank you.
I love you, Jamie. Namaste.
We miss
Peace,
you.
everyone. We miss you. We'll see you soon. Let's see how Facebook is doing over here.
Are we still live on Facebook?
Maybe.